Welcome back to the most professional StarCraft 2 with the reigning world champion, the Terran in the blue from Team Liquid. It's Clem. Facing off against arguably the best Protoss player in the world in the red, we have Hero. A best of 5 Terran versus Protoss Grand Finals. Starting things off on Whispers of Gold. And I'm not talking about the YouTube comment section's average skill level, but instead one of the most hotly contested maps in the pool. If you like hot contests between high APM players, well, it'd be awesome if you could like this video. And maybe even subscribe. And Jimmy, what are we at? 1,555 likes on this video, on this cast, and I'll cast another one. Nope, probably do it anyways. I don't know what else I'd do with my life. But thank you for watching. Hopefully, you've had a good day so far, and hopefully it's about to get just a little bit better, as Hero, already starting things off a little dramatically, opts for the Sentry, the most fabulous of Protoss units to start, and we'll be having a look-see around Clem's base. Sees the second gas, somewhat delayed because Clem did go for a 1-Rax expand. Sees the factory timing, sees the Marines futilely trying to chase down the hallucinated Phoenix and shorten its already short life. But instead of going straight for the Twilight Council and Blink, or an actual Stargate, the hallucinated... What is this? What is this buddy cop combo here? Yes, it's Bert the Stalker and Ernie the Sentry. Completely original and non-coincidental names, and please don't sue me. But obviously, the Stalker Sentry timing... Well, Clem doesn't know. He knows there's a Sentry. He did not scout it all. Alright, so he has no information whatsoever besides the fact there is a Stalker and there was a Sentry for the hallucinated Phoenix. There could be more Stalkers. He could be waiting. The hallucinated Phoenix gets into the main. He's actually giving a lot of respect to this non-attack. The Stalker just kind of walked up, took a few pot shots at the orbital command. I don't think he even killed... Yeah, nothing. No one died. But the emotional damage was also negligible. And I think Clem just a little confused, and Hero somewhat chagrined. But what? We're gonna charge forward into the mid-game in the most literal sense with that ham-fisted segue, as Hero is opting for charge to start things off. A robotics facility at the natural, otherwise looking kind of similar to your average Protoss versus Terran, but again, Hero is a master of making things look like something you expect and then turning it into some sort of Lovecraftian, is that it? Some sort of nightmare. Now, I'm not talking about the Protoss player, but instead something that Terrans absolutely hate, which is not being able to do the exact same build every game. Well, the Sentry, Guardian Shield is activated. We'll buy him a little bit more space, a little bit more time against the Siege Tank, the Marines, and the Cyclone. There's no stim, no combat shield. The charge is not yet done. Hero's battery is exhausted. I don't think he has enough energy to recharge it, somewhat ironically, but there's an Immortal on the way. Charge is completed. Will that be enough to deal with this Siege Tank targeted onto the Stalkers, trying to maximize the damage? The charge lots are just slicing through the Marines, picks up a few survivors and gets out. And did he... Oh, he definitely spotted that medevac split off. Clem, not doing his due diligence here. He already used the boost. It's on cooldown, and the Marines will be knocked out with the medevac. He gets one consolation Stalker, but overall, wow. Okay, Hero. He takes a shot from the siege tanks, and he was still willing to go. Oh, Ernie's back. Well, the first unit of the game so far has survived. Hero has only lost 2 Stalkers. He killed a medevac, a Cyclone, a Siege Tank, and 14 Marines. That is real damage. Clem completely off guard by the charge lots. Of course, Clem didn't scout, and even if he did, I don't know if he would have recognized it. Because until the moment charge finished, it still could have easily been a delayed Blink Stalker build. And you know what? If you want to be pedantic and annoying, technically it still is, as Blink is now on the way with +1 and a Colossus already in production. Hero immediately adding on that long-range splash damage. But could you extend that thermal lance for me? Oh, Hero. Oh, Hero. Going for extended thermal lance. at his Robo Bay. And also, I want to point out the positioning of the Forge and the Robo Bay. Hero, known for questionable Protoss architectural decisions, but in this case, I'm very happy to see that he's put all his core tech not in some sort of corner of the main where it can be depowered by a single pylon.
Who does that?
But instead, it possibly, like, if he loses his Robo Bay at his Forge, he will be losing the game. That means the natural is gone, probably the mineral line. The Robo's likely dead. There's a small chance that drops maybe sneak through, but if that set of tech goes down, it is very likely Hero is in a game-losing position already. So it's kind of irrelevant at that stage. I really like this observer positioning for Hero. I know, it's a weirdly specific thing, but putting the observer outside Clem's base instead of his own. He's got spylons outside his base because Clem will expect there to be vision there. So might as well use the cheapest and most obvious option. Just the existence of... Okay, alright, Mike, Clem. Hero might be a lot of things, but he's not blind. Usually. Well. Drops out, gives Hero the benefit of the doubt, takes out the pylon. He's got an observer directly over the army. A Marine just... Fun fact, there's low gravity on this map. First map I've seen in quite a while that isn't just underwater or just normal, I guess. A lot of Earth-like maps. I digress. Meanwhile, the Stalkers retreat back to a small cannon battery outpost, but this double drop is enough for Hero to pull a lot more units back and leave the third base wide open to the attack. Another, well, the main thrust of the force is going through the center, and now Hero sprints forward. The Widowmines actually unsiege as the charge lots sprint in. So the Widowmine's doing plenty of damage to the Terrans, as well as the Protoss. Hero will defend his third, but his fourth base, I don't know if it was canceled or destroyed, but either way, it's not there anymore. So Clem doing real damage with the drops, but again, Hero is mostly able to deflect it. I would say that's still a slight win for Clem, because he denied the fourth base, he whittled down some of the economy. Actually, look at the worker count, 61 to 68. Clem with a very solid 3-base economy. He's pretty much got all the SCVs he needs, and he agrees he's not building anymore. Now, the 3 extended thermal lance colossi, there are 5 Vikings scattered throughout, kind of trickling out. He does have blink completed for the Stalkers, and now he's working on the double upgrades. The Vikings will strip away the shields. The Stalkers gonna try to zone them out. So far, not finding a lot of success. +1 armor is about to complete. On the ground, make it a little bit, well, I guess the Colossi also technically benefit, though are very much not on the ground. I think he just picked off that well-placed observer and then flew past another one. Come on, Clem. He has to... It's a fake! Well, if he had gone a little bit further, it would have been better, but... He repositions. I think he noticed the observer there. He actually doesn't have energy for a scan, I think is why he didn't even bother. Now, a Dark Shrine is on the way. 1/2 of the double Ds of destruction. A single D. Oh, but the Colossi! He target fires the mines and does maximum damage to the Colossi. And the Widow Mines will soften up this army. I believe Ernie died in the midst of all that, and so will 3 Colossi. They topple to the ground. A 4th one will join them in the unit's loss tab, and it is a disaster for Hero. An unmitigated calamity as the mines open things up and everything else closes it. That he killed... Technically, he killed 3 medevacs, so they wandered into the fray. But 4 Colossi, an Immortal, 2 Sentries, including the Cultural Hero. Pun somewhat intended. You know. But Hero undeterred. He's just traded everything else out for approximately 24 more charge lots. More Widow Mines being built. He's got plenty of Vikings. He will rebuild the Colossi. Worth forcing out the Vikings. There's not even a hint of Storm. There are Dark Templar. Well, there's a Dark Shrine. Or Shrine to Dark, depending on who you ask. And now, the Disruptors. For the full combo. The Dark Templar to drag the attention away at the worst possible moments, and the Disruptors to exploit that lapse. Now, Clem, unlike, well, this off everyone else, doesn't seem to have lapses at key moments. Disruptors require them in order to get the damage done at this level. But Hero has so many charge lots. Now, charge lots and Disruptors have a very rough and tumble working relationship, and by that I mean Disruptors can easily annihilate an entire legion of Zealots if you're looking the wrong way for even a split second. Oh my, beautiful split. Gets nothing but part of a Marauder. Another shot hits home in the center mass, though. Stalker's coming in from the north. Charge lots coming in from everywhere else. The Widow Mines will connect, but the charge lots don't seem to care. 2-2 upgrades for both sides. Colossus, Vikings hit the deck. It looks like Clem will win the fight on the high ground. As soon as he's able to retreat with the backline damage of the Vikings, surprisingly helpful here. He does have +1 ship weapons. He's able to clean up the rest of the charge lots. But Hero is not just going to let him sit back. Despite the 25 supply gap, despite the upgrades being about even, he's going to have a slight advantage. Despite the unit composition being what some might say is mediocre, it doesn't matter. Hero going to try to stay on the attack and keep the aggression going in order to keep Clem busy for as long as he can. And behind it, Clem now has a fusion core on the way, and he has 2 reactored starports if he wants to start pumping out the Liberators. Another base on the way. The Dark Templar scattered throughout. He actually forced away the SCVs at the 3rd. So the income goes back towards Hero very temporarily. More mules will be dropping at now the 7 o'clock base as Hero expands even closer. Well, Hero and Clem expand towards one another. I guess let's be fair. They both have part of the Caduceus reactor. Clem! What is this? Who? Goomy, bro. He gets, well, yes, Liberator range is great, but he doesn't have any Liberators. You know what makes it easier to build Liberators? If you have enough medevacs to heal your units. Clem with a very small but very big decision to go for Caduceus reactor first, and I wholeheartedly approve. As one of the most... Well, the thing about medevacs is they can't heal a Disruptor hit. With a few asterisks there, because technically they don't one-shot Marauders, but kiting back, the charge lot slicing in, and there's just so many of them. The Disruptors to zone out, and those dangerous force fields will obliterate another group of bio. He doesn't end up getting the planetary. He repositions, just gonna go for the bio. There are 2 planetary fortresses here. Caduceus reactor now completed. Advanced ballistics, Liberator range queued up right behind. And now 3-3 is done for Hero, but it's closing in alongside +2 ship weapons for Clem. The Disruptor count continues to grow as the Danger Bulls will glide across the map and try to slam into Clem's army. And, of course, Clem will do whatever he can to avoid that. Advanced Ballistics is still not done, but the Liberators are being built 3 at a time. Clem is maxed out. The charge lots continue to stream in. Liberators from the north side, another EMP. Charge lots closing in and cutting through the majority of the army to the south. But the Liberators will staunch the bleeding and make it impossible for Hero to actually finish this fight. Disruptors are recharging. Another shot comes out. He tries to dodge. It's not good enough, but the Disruptors are caught in Liberator fire. Stalkers will knock a couple of them down. Vikings are on the deck. Charge lots come around the corner and will slice up another half-dozen Terran units and then some. He's still got 20 charge lots on the field. His army is almost exclusively charge lots now. How many gateways? Just 11 of them. As Hero keeps the supplies nearly even. He's got 84 probes, 84 army supply. Balance in all things. Just don't ask the Terrans about it. 4 Liberators at a time. Disruptor, exploratory shot. If only Clem could repair that Thor in the ground there. Looks like a Liberator trying to come up. But Clem, looking the other way for a moment, and here comes Hero's army. Disruptor shot. The charge slots eat the brunt of it. Another one. Just chunking up some of the Marines. I think the Liberator found the sweet spot to the north, and Hero's starting to lose some probes, but he's clearly a bit busy at the moment. The probes just zoned out. I'm not sure if there's any space for him to be able to hit, but the Liberator's just leapfrogging forward. The albatross around Hero's neck right now. He needs to find a way out of the Liberator fire. Find a way around it. Through it. But right now, the Liberators, there's barely any Stalkers. He's got 8 Stalkers to 8 Liberators. Plus 2 ship weapons is done. Charge lot's coming in the back. But it's... wow, that's not even remotely close to enough. Clem has the army. Those Caduceus reactored medevacs, the Liberators overhead, the Olympic rings of freedom just being scattered throughout, zoning all the choke points and the ramps, making it impossible for Hero to even engage. And Clem just annexing these bases. The probes on the run. It's 100 supply. There's one thing Hero is always superior to Clem at, and it's making sure he's dead before leaving the game. Hero down 100 supply against a Clem who's comfortably maxed out and hasn't really taken any economic damage. But Hero says, you know, maybe. And I gotta give him credit on that front. But unfortunately, I don't think I'll be crediting him in the scores from this game. He's going to lose unless Clem somehow falls entirely flat on his face and breaks his neck on the way down. The main brunt of the army. Hero goes into a full-hearted but half-cocked base trade. He will slice through a whole lot of SCVs. Thing is, Clem still has plenty of money in the bank. More DTs will be attempted. And the Liberators in cushioning. Oh my, oh my. Okay, well, the Stalker's having a bad time. A single DT just scans it. And Hero. Honestly, it might help tilt Clem. I'm sure Clem knows how far ahead he is, being arguably the 3rd best Protoss player behind Hero in max packs, especially in Protoss versus Terran, of course. But Hero fighting the 60 supply. But now he still has a bit of money. Warps in a few more charge lots. The medevacs, I think the medevacs are more army supply than Hero has on the field right now. JJ Clem will take game number 1. Somewhat comfortably. Not able to close it out early, but Hero never found any sort of game-changing damage. He never was able to deny the 4th base. He didn't really slow down the unit composition from coming together. The charge lot certainly threw the game sideways, but not much further than that. So Clem takes game number 1, but Hero clearly undeterred by a rough game here or there. He would never have made it this far if he was. So many times. Well, Dark is a prime example. Clem very much not Dark, as we've established, but so many times. Dark, the master of Clown Fiesta Gaming. The CEO, if you would. Still, so many times, reverse swept by Hero. So what I'm saying, I'm already priming us. If Clem goes up 2-0, I'm not counting Hero out. Okay, he might not have the technical expertise of either Max Pax or Clem, but he's got that. He's got that killer instinct. And the willingness to use it. He will fight like a Terran down to 60 supply before actually... If he could lift his buildings, he would. That's what I'm trying to say here. Whereas, it is one of my main and completely irrelevant, except from an observer perspective, criticisms of Clem, is that Usually when he's losing, and he's pretty clear he's losing, he just leaves immediately. Like mid-fight. Like, gets hit by a Disruptor and GG's out before I have time to finish my sentence. Okay, you gotta let it breathe. In much the same way your units didn't. But Clem, not looking to deal with any sort of shenanigans this time, but instead is going for a double gas, which means he gets his factory as soon as possible, 2 in each gas, the most efficient possible, and just enough for a reactor or a second Reaper. Second Reaper. Ah, we're doing Reaper Hellion this time. Okay. Back to the high aggression builds. Clem didn't like the feeling of his opponent having more than 2 units before he moved out last time. Which was a bit odd. I feel like his talents are somewhat wasted if he just expands early. And clearly Clem... Oh, Ernie's back! And he earnestly disagrees with the Reaper's presence here. Shields will regen, health will heal. They'll both go their separate ways for now. And a Sentry does beat a Reaper in 1v1, though it's surprisingly close if they just go at it, especially if a grenade lands. Wait, can he do the thingy? I don't know if he has the angle for it. Was it the last series these two played where I saw Clem bounce a Zealot into his own main with the grenade? Which is possible, though a very odd quirk of exact positioning, and I think a lot of luck. And I don't think it was intentional, he was just trying to do extra damage, but already, shield battery is complete, and this is shut down. No? Yeah, just trying to see whatever he can on the high ground. Unfortunately, he will not be seeing the Phoenixes in production. The I'm always a sucker for the hallucinated unit into real unit builds, because by the 3rd time you see a Phoenix come across, you're not even thinking about it. But then suddenly that Phoenix starts doing damage. Oh my god, the grenades are beautiful. He's building up the Phoenix count. I bet he'll lead the charge. Now, a benefit of the hallucinated Phoenixes is knowing if there could be Widowmines. And yes, there's a Widowmine in that medevac loaded up now. But Hero has done the same opener and then swerved immediately into the start, like up towards the star. It doesn't matter where the Stargate is. That's irrelevant. The point is, he teched in an entirely different direction. Charge lots and Phoenixes are... Well, they're not different directions, but like a different side of this. Not important. Again, the Phoenixes will lift up a Marine. They'll get the Widow Mine. They should be able to knock down the medevac on the way out. He's going to try to drop the Marines on the low ground. The Reaper Hellion is coming back in. Did he energy recharge one of those Phoenixes, or has it been building up for a while? Either way, they'll get cleaned up. And here comes Hero. What is back at home? Hero has a laundry list of early game Protoss. He's got 2 Zealots, 4 Adepts, 3 Stalkers, 5 Phoenixes, and Ernie. All right. And the Phoenixes... Clem doesn't have, like, any units. Hero ran out of energy and can't lift the siege tank, which is the worst time for that to possibly happen. But at the same time, well, Clem, the siege tank is not being repaired. The Zealots... No, wait. Okay, he lifts it again. The Zealots... This is... Huh. Oh, the Phoenix... Clem, we just talked about this. Like I mentioned, Clem has a tendency to tap out of games when he realizes he's at quite a disadvantage. Now, do I think this game is over? The Adepts get in, which I think is what really set him off here. I don't think this is nearly... He's still got comparable... Clem... Now, all that really matters for these players is at the end of the day, the scoreline. But if Clem ends up losing this series, I will point to this game as something that's at least a yellow card for me. Oh my. Yes, it's a tough scenario. Yes, he's going to probably lose 3 or 4 more SCVs. Maybe more. He's getting camped by the Phoenixes, yes. Again. But Phoenixes can't win games on their own. Definitely a bit early for my taste. I'm sure Hero was a bit surprised as well. Especially considering his tendency to fight till the very, very bitter end. But, here we go again, all tied up. Going into El Dorado. Another spicy map worthy of that was not supposed to end the game. Yes, it was an all-out timing attack. But it's not like Hero cut probes dramatically or didn't have any sort of transition. He would have been ahead economically. I'm not sure if he was taken to third base yet or had any other tech on the way, as he was commanding a lot of attention there. But Clem. There's something to be said. Clem far and away the most accomplished player in these weekly tournaments. This from Wardi's Mondays that you guys help sponsor, well, through me, every Monday. Kind of replacing the ESL Cups of old. Clem plays in like 3 or 4 of them, usually every month. I think he was just testing out to see whether the gateway was in the right spot. Also, is this a Reaper wall? Sorry, I'm getting distracted. I think part of it is expediting his travel through the tournaments. Like, if you're going to be playing 6 to 8 hours of tournaments in a day. Then again, whenever I watch Hero play, that counter-argument also exists. Hero plays in all of these as well, as we've been seeing more and more. It feels like Hero has stepped it up yet again. Hero's career has been quite a roller coaster. But even when it's had its ups and downs, it's always exciting. And Ernie's on the way again. Sentry first. So far, it seems to have quite a psychological effect on Clem as well. The feeling of, it's like an overlord that you can't poke away with one Marine. The hallucinated Phoenix Scout. So it's not like it's cheap. You have to invest the 50 energy from energy recharge, and of course 100 gas in the Sentry. So you've delayed your tech by like 30 plus seconds, depending on exactly when you get your gas gassers. But the sense of safety and security is apparently irreplaceable. So Hero is actively scouting with his hallucinated Phoenix before making a decision on what he's going to go for. And again, the real Phoenix. Ah, Bert and Ernie, yet again on the way across the map. 2 brothers, not related, like in the metaphorical sense of like, you're my brother, not we are literally brother and brother. Anyways, you think Clem? Ernie pulls in a hallucinated Colossus, but Clem is not lost. I really just needed Clem to leave the game there on seeing that Colossus before it got a swipe off. But even Clem will not be bamboozled by a Colossus at the 3-minute mark. Why are you microing back? What am I watching? They're just shadow boxing right now. Oh, he's gonna scout! The scouting Colossus! Yeah! You can't catch me on the hallucinated man. I don't. Hero. I love that he microed it and used it to scout. Okay, like, the hallucination, it doesn't do any damage. It takes twice as much damage. And it has a limited lifespan. even then, Hero trying to... Phoenix mating dance. Alright. You get a little bit of motion sickness. One of them... Oh my. Okay. Coming around the inside track. It's like NASCAR in the sky here. Alright, we're making a right turn, another right turn, and we're going to have another right turn, and this guy's just sitting here watching the other ones do their right turns, but I guess technically is pivoting as well. So, I feel like if I stare at this for too long, I... God. Oh, no, not again! No, it's another one! And now we're doing the old up and downsies, not the side to side. And this changes everything. I'm not sure how, but it's... Oh, my. Oh, wow. We're bringing it all together. Okay, combining it all. Beautifully done. Beautifully done. Great job, everyone. Okay, I can't look at that for any longer. It's too much. Robo Bay is on the way. It's gonna be Colossus Phoenix. It's an old build, but it checks out. An old style of clearly exploiting the greatest strengths of Protoss. Now, the build is brittle. If you lose either portion, if you don't have the Colossi to zone out the ground army, you don't have the Phoenixes to keep them alive in the sky, then the rest easily crumbles. So, but it is also a very powerful build for stiff arming a Terran player who isn't quite prepared for it. Like, if Clem gets 4-6 medevacs, well, he hasn't even seen a Phoenix yet. He's seen a hallucinated Phoenix, but... And now it's all spotted. Yeah, Clem has literally not scouted past the halfway mark of the map. Hero is just... Now, Clem has no idea. 6.5 minutes in, the Phoenixes pick it up and knock it down. 8, 9, 10 SCVs, and they're gonna get away with it. He just ransacks the base. Hero. And Clem even shoots one of the Marines out of frustration. Oh my. Hero getting by a huge margin the better end of the builds here. Mostly because Clem just took damage and didn't deal any of it out. He hasn't even been, as I mentioned, over halfway across the map with any unit. So, where's that Raven? Raven still chilling. Honestly, interference matrix or anti-armor missile with the main fight could be pretty devastating. He's even getting +1 air weapons. Oh, Hero. Well. And a what? A fleet beacon? Carriers? He's getting a second Stargate. This isn't just for Mothership. I love the pro at the watchtower. Nonplussed. The Phoenix is darting back. Cyclone will lock on, breaks it with the high ground vision, and then gets broken down by the Marines. And the Widow Mine eats another one. Gonna knock down a couple more SCVs. The Marine will spot the entire army. A Zealot will chop it up. He didn't actually see any of the Colossi yet. Though we will see the Robo Bay and take out several probes with auto turret. 2 carriers are in production. It's a carrier rush. And while they're not the first thing he built, this is about as quick as you can get carriers while still having a ground army. Hero, it looks like he will make it all the way to carriers before Clem gets across the map with anything but a Raven. A Templar Archives is on the way behind. Hero playing him like a fiddle right now. And those can be an incredibly annoying instrument, depending on who you ask. A scan? Oh, he sees the carrier. Yeah, he sees them in the Stargates. He doesn't have the little icon, but he can see the carriers producing. So already, another starport is in production, and armory as well. But the carriers have arrived. They have +1 air weapons done. which is actually very helpful with those interceptors. Now the Raven, gonna be a little distracted. Now Clem has plenty of army supply. He's just tearing through the natural. He knocks out the 4th base. The Colossi will retreat back on their own. They are real, important to note. Where are the carriers? With the main army here. Guardian shields. And Hero. He wants to pick up those Widow Mines, but it's not worth losing the Phoenixes. Just building up the carrier count. Mothership! Now being added in. There's still a lot of... He just targets down the Robo Bay. The Colossi just singeing the Marauders. Barely getting any damage before the Robo goes down. He's going to try to chase this down with the Phoenixes. And that, well, will help out dramatically. Clem is working on his 4th command center, but he didn't get it. Oh, I'm sorry, Probe. Yeah, that's rough. Oh, that's very rough. There go the... Okay, well... 1 out of 4 isn't terrible, I guess. Colossus Carrier Phoenix with a few sentries for Guardian Shield and Force Field underneath, whatever charge loss. There's a couple Immortals tucked in underneath those Colossi as well. So Hero's unit composition is really coming together right now. If Clem is not able to do critical damage by the time that Hero maxes out, this becomes a lot more interesting. Right now, he can still bully him around the field. He has 12 Vikings. He's going to knock out the 6 o'clock base yet again. Storm is on the way. A storm. Now, there are ghosts. There are siege tanks. But even a couple storms could make all the difference. It's all about a critical mass. Even more than usual with carriers. If you just have the critical mass of interceptors and they don't have enough anti-air to knock them down. Well, here's the mothership. Doesn't use the time warp. Active cloaking. Scans. He sees that Templar is retreating. Can't know that Storm isn't done yet. Widow Mines will connect for the most part. But time warp on top of the Vikings. Just a group of Marines down the front. Charge lots at the 4th base. Mothership tumbles. Carriers are fighting, though, and winning that fight. The carriers reign supreme in the skies. Though Clem is hunting down everything at the natural, he does have a recall available. 16 SCVs dead, 8 probes, and counting much higher now. 17, 18 probes dead, as Hero goes into a carrier-based base trade. I don't think Clem has nearly enough at home to defend this. The carrier count is too damn high. +2 air weapons completes. There's not enough anti-air. The carriers are pretty much fully loaded with interceptors. There's a couple Colossi. He's getting outflanked by a missile turret, which is actually incredibly helpful here. That missile turret! Oh no! The missile turret is doing so much damage! He can't out-DPS a missile! Oh, but Clem ran out of minerals! And the missile turret dies because of it! Oh, and Clem! With no GG. We're just gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. But the carriers clearly tilting Clem despite having the supply. Not really waiting to engage them. Now, sometimes when you go straight for the carriers, it's going to be trouble. But if you stay at home, that trouble could be twice as much. So, do you stay or do you go? That's the important question. And Clem chose to go, and it wasn't quite fast enough or hard enough. We never built up... Well, part of it is not seeing the Phoenixes until they were already lifting up and knocking down his SCVs. That was clearly a major issue, as Hero now takes a 2-game lead. No, 1-game lead, 2 games in total. All right.
The numbers don't lie, and they spell disaster for you.
I didn't think they'd work. I thought Clem was breaking them down. But Hero comes in. I think he knows how to push his buttons. I don't want to read into the no GG too much, but it was a conspicuous game for that to happen, I will say. From the hallucinating Colossus trolling. And it was a legitimate scout, okay? Legitimate scout, but also hilarious. Well, so far the Ernie build is working out. A hard-working Sentries. Sentries the real MVP throughout this series so far. Even in the game 1 where Hero ended up losing. Lag. Should be good. Go. So, I may have contributed to some of the tilt there. And these players play so much. Honestly, I don't think at this stage of StarCraft 2 we have too many players who are legitimately just angry gamers. Alright, we don't have the Idris. I think Rogue is the closest. Dark, we pretend, is the villain. But he's like... I don't know enough about wrestling, but he's like the heel to an extent. Where he always plays... Well, #1 player in the world, ranked by Dark. But from my understanding, it is not so much an actual trash talker and all that, but just the only, especially Korean player, willing to show off some banters. And Clem as well, somewhat well known as a semi-rager, but he's a Terran player, so that means so you can't repair a sentry. Ernie right now will not be collecting any sort of healthcare privileges. He will get reshielded, but that is permanent damage. Wow, he full... Clem's like, is this bugged out? Hero, he can't wall against Zerg. But this is actually... So there are 2 Reaper entrances here. Wow, Hero. I love it. I don't even think it's good. He used 2 pylons, because there's not enough, like... So, Clem clearly bamboozled here. His Gabber's flasted. As he tries to jump up and literally can't. Though it's a hard wall against the edge, which means they can't even jump up and take a look around. I love it. And then he just builds the... That's enough mating dances. Oh my god. Looking like Minecraft characters simulating things that really shouldn't be on YouTube Kids. But now Blink is on the way. So despite all of this, Hero is doing the closest thing to a generic Blink build we've seen so far. And because, well, Clem could have let this one go. He's gonna spot, there are 2 pylons here. The Reaper Hellion's in kind of an awkward spot. A Widowmine will burrow. The Widowmine Blink is still pretty far off. He sacrifices Ernie. Oh no! And he gets out with everything. Oh, wait, you didn't even need to, did the pylon wall? I'm not even sure he needed the pylon to wall off. That is the most Hero thing I've ever seen. Hero could have walled off with 1 pylon, a gate, and a cyber, but he has 2 pylons, one of which was superfluous. Of course, that pylon was powering one of his gates by the end of it, but so far, Clem killed a sentry and that pylon, and he gets a scout that this is very likely going to be a Blink timing. But Hero immediately swerves again. Charge on the way, as well as a robotics bay. So, Clem trying to put together his bulwark in the main base. But it's not going to be the Blink aggression. It's whatever stalkers he has right now, and he's going to poke around a bit, try to see if he can pick off medevac, few marines, some self-esteem, but the actual follow-up again is going to be Charge and Colossus. Here. extended thermal lance on the way. Clem with a much more typical sort of style. He's got the stim +1 on the way. Got Marauders and Marines in production. He's got 3 barracks completed. Could have figured that one out for myself on the production tab, but lining up for a 2-base push. Are those 2 more barracks at the back of the base? Odd location for him, but well, the observer will spot it. Very importantly, he's building 5 racks before a 3rd command center, clearly indicating, and Hero was paying attention as well, that he's very interested in getting damage done as soon as these medevacs come out. So it's up to Hero to have what he needs to defend against it. There's the Raven. He's got a Viking, siege tanks, Marauders. Will he pull the boys? Maybe even just 3 or 4 of them? The Tactic boys. Notably, no Warp Prism from Hero. Not going to try to counterattack. Instead, I'm sure Chrono boosting out. I'm sure... he actually does... oh, he does have energy. I'm sure Chrono boosting out his rope. And here comes the attack. Hero should have seen this move out. He knows where the army is. Now, the replacement sent all beautiful force fields. Unfortunately, he cut off more than he can chew, and since he's Protoss with no mouth, he can't chew anything at all. The force fields would have been incredible with 1 more Colossus in order to roast through, but he just doesn't have the numbers right now. And Clem is already shelling. Hero optimistically taking that center base, or maybe just thinking about the future as whenever he loses this. +1 is done in 8 seconds. Cannon getting some damage. He just goes. +1. Oh no, the drop in the main. +1 finishes mid-fight. Might be able to target down some of the Vikings. 12 probes already dead. Here comes Clem streaming into the fray yet again. The Colossi taking a lot of damage so far, but none of them taken out. The main base was gutted though. The damage seems to already have been done. He's actually recalling a Colossus, of all things. He picks up and gets out. Gonna try to target the base. Oh, he just takes out the Colossi. Oh. Well, that's one way to do it. The Nexus goes down, delays the warp in. Medevac comes back to the main. And Hero stretched a little bit too far. Zealots will be gunned down 1 by 1. Technically, Hero has the gold, and Clem does not have a 3rd. So Hero brawling it out till the end. If he can actually hold this at any point where he still has more than like 30 probes, he can turn it around. The main base is still under attack. Blinks out of the mine hit. The Vikings zoning out the Colossus. Hero just can't put together enough units. The pylon is taken out. The probes as well. He's got a prism to try to juggle things, but the Viking can take that one out as well. Hero fighting till the end. But Clem will bring us to a final game. A game 5. What a series between these two yet again. Another roller coaster. But I want to stay on this wild ride. I love Hero seeing the army move out and saying, time for a gold base, let's go. And if he had gotten away with it, he'd be way ahead. But Clem cuts right through. Like a hot knife through a buttered baguette. Or is that heresy? No, I'm not. Something else that offends the French. So, most things. Hero. I am endlessly amused that Hero is better at walling off against Terran than against Zerg. But then again, nowadays, probably a lot more practice. So... Now, since we have a little time, what I am referencing is how the average one of these tournaments nowadays has a rough but proportional average, has about 20 ranked Protoss players, 10 ranked Terrans, and if we're lucky, 1 to 3 Zergs. Cyril has never played in online tournaments on a regular basis. Raynor is too busy ranking up in League of Legends. Dark, I'm not sure if he participated, but Dark said he was... The real talk is Dark said he was retiring and doing his obligatory military service after the World Cup last year. It is now 2025. Believe it or not. I know. And he's still going. Then you have Shin, Rogue, Solar, who all occasionally make a cameo appearance, especially Shin, but are not nearly as consistent. We now have a new triumvirate. Clem, the head of it, and then Hero and Max Packs. Also, Hero, Clem, and Max Packs have been the finals of like 10 out of the last 12 online tournaments. Pick 2 out of 3. Usually Clem and one of the Protoss, but so it goes. Which, honestly, especially with Hero back in the rotation, I feel like Hero is just inspiring both Max Packs and Clem to be a little more original with their strategies. Because they're both so mechanically talented. Like, why even wall off against the Reaper, though, bro? Like, Hero's... What is this? It's the idea of a wall. Where's Ernie? Oh, no. He didn't build a sentry. Well, especially for Max Packs, but also for Clem, I feel like Hero kind of breaks the mold. He melts it down and eats it with a box of crayons. And then he vomits it up and draws his game plan or something like that. And I assume that's how he decides to wall off. But the point is, instead of doing the mechanically perfect, same build every single game, Blink Stalker Robo, Hero seems to be playing strat roulette, where he's just going to send a Stalker across the map while losing probes to a Reaper. Ernie wouldn't have let that happen. He's going to lose 2 probes and a lot of mining time. But he did keep Clem from mining at his natural for a bit. So another odd start. An Oracle? Sure, Stargate again. Well. Twilight Council behind. Just a single Oracle. He recharged it. And now Stasis Wards outside the front, and then he's putting the Adepts out in front of them to make sure they don't get triggered easily. What's it gonna be? Blink. Honestly, I usually have a pretty good idea of what players are gonna go for, partially because they're as predictable as I just mentioned, but Hero is continually okay, he's coming up with new stuff all the time. I'm not sure what the method is to the madness, but it's 2-2 against the world champion, so it's time to speed up, not slow down. Clem is doing a siege tech time, or at least he's looking to have a solid ground army before bothering teching up any further. He doesn't even have a starport. Instead, he's focused entirely on barracks and siege tank production, which completely shuts down Blinkstalkers. But this is like Blinkstalkers Premium Edition. He saw the Stargate, so 2 Cyclones and plenty of Marines. I guess the Cyclones were the acknowledgement of the Stargate, but it's not Phoenixes this time. He's just patrolling with his probe. Sure, yeah, throw some stasis out there, why not? Keep them busy. Throw more stasis up. Now, the beauty of stasis is having vision as well. Like a budget observer from the Oracle. So, very smart to have those out there, especially before you even finish your robo. Charge is on the way behind the blink. The probe makes it a weirdly far amount of the way into Clem's base before being annihilated by a siege tank. Oracle comes in, gonna burn through several. In fact, I think this is the first time Clem has seen the Oracle. Quite a revelation. And speaking of, he tags the army. Robo Bay on the way immediately upon finishing that robotics facility. Heroes just taking a fourth. How many gates? 4 gates. So, not a huge level of production right now. He's just trying to get away with his 4th base. And then, kind of, boom behind that. To borrow some Age of Empires terminology. Well, still quite a dangerous army on the way across the map. Charge is not done. +1 not done. No Colossi. There is still a stasis. Catches the Cyclone. That is something. Oracle finding damage on the other side. Kind of surprising. Manages to dodge the Widow Mines. Knocks out another stasis. Clem doesn't know about the 4th base existing. Well, he does now. Oracle is coming back around. Charge and +1 finishing at the perfect timing. As the Oracle floats over the top as well. Force fields are good. But for whom? As again, Clem just picks up and now has a critical mass of Terran here. Hero trying to battle it back. That 4th base, quite a target. He continually warps in the charge lots, pulls the probes just to eat a couple hits. The Oracle also drawn into the fray. Going down is kind of painful at this stage, but the sentries taken out as they have less range than the Stalkers. And Clem clearly making a lot of headway here. Trying to knock down the Colossus. Gets it. Blinks back. Lets the charge lots go for. And the Widow Mine hits both Terran and Protoss alike. It looks like Hero will hold for now. Might be able to pick off a few more units on the way across. And consolation prize. More of the Marauders. One of the Widow Mines. Potentially. The rally point actually went to the wrong side of things. The cartography error here may cost Clem some extra supply. And Hero actually takes the supply lead. Clem made a lot of progress with the main army, but he didn't kill the 4th base, and he ended up losing a huge chunk of it. 15 Marauders died. His siege tank, a medevac, a whole bunch of Marines. The Spylon will spot the medevac moving out. Another Widow Mine taken out midfield. Charge lots heading for the 3rd, and Hero aggressively expanding. He's going to be taking another base right down the center. The charge lots will be spotted. Clem in no man's land right now. He has to come back with the main army to defend. The drop is coming in. I like how Hero has the super pylons with the gateway there set up, even at the back of his base. He recalls like 4 or 5 charge lots out, which is something you can do. The medevac is clearly being told with psionically that it's not wanted around these parts, but Stalkers are, well, they don't make anyone comfortable. So Hero at 5 bases against Clem at just 3. The supplies are about even. Disruptors are being added into the field. A very dangerous army from both sides right now. Our most even game so far. Appropriately, Game 5, which will break the even score. +2 ground weapons is done for Hero. 1-1 about to be completed for Clem. And the +2 weapons upgrade is not too far off either. So he will have an upgrade advantage, but Hero will be striking beforehand. Disruptor shots flung out. Actually hits the Ghost, even though some of the EMPs landed. Trying to target down some more of the Vikings. Charge lots come in. Force field locks in a few unlucky units. Zones out the rest. 8 SCVs dead to the charge lots. The Bio Ball will roll back around. Clem, select all army hotkey, and the Whittle Mine drop will get caught out. Blink Stalkers drops through. And the Whittle Mines will actually connect. He's going to kill a couple probes. Meanwhile, main army, brawling it out. Disruptor shots, trying to pop him, does so. It's just gateway units left behind, and they will get torn asunder by the firepower of the combined Terran army. He needs the splash damage. The Purification Novas are required to deal with this right now. Disruptor fires off a shot. He tries to get there, and he pops it before it can connect. But wait, there's more. More Zealots warped in. He forces it back. Actually will clip one of the Ghosts. The medevacs are almost entirely out of energy. No Caduceus reactor. I believe no fusion core. And the Stims are bringing the Bio Army into a lot more malleable range. The Vikings hit the deck, realizing they're no longer needed in the sky. And Hero down 30 supply, but a Disruptor shot chunks up some of the Vikings, as well as a bit of the Bio. Clem has taken a 4th base to the north side, so it's not over yet economically. Hero has 89 probes, which is arguably too many, but he's not maxed out. He only has 9 gateways, which is arguably too few. And those medevacs being consistently out of energy, he's forcing the constant stims. Even if he loses a few zealots, keeping those medevacs impotent for most of this is certainly paying dividends for Hero. He's willing to exchange zealot lives for medevac energy. Now, that's not great PR phrasing. It's more like allowing the zealots to provide a one-time social benefit to the entire Protoss civilization through gratuitous use of forward aggression. Go get him, Billy! All right, the charge lots come in again. Everything stims. Another cadre of medevacs is coming across. The charge lots, a lot of the bio units split to deal with the Ruptors, which makes them more vulnerable to the charge lots. Comes back around for another round. Another double shot comes through. The double barrel kind of connects, clips some of it. +2 armor now completed for Hero, and that'll give him a slight advantage. 2-2 versus 2-1. But Clem is working on 3-2 as we still brawl down the center of the map. The charge lots coming again. The Blink Stalkers off to the side. The Disruptors fire through, and they'll hit Zealots and Vikings alike. Another shot tries to follow it up. Comes up mostly empty. And the Disruptors are now getting chased down. I don't think there's anything. Well, the Stalkers will turn around to try to save him. Trading him out for now. Hero, his aggressive expansion and his huge level of... He's building 6 more probes. You don't need more probes. He's about to have 99 problems. And having 99 probes is certainly going to be the biggest one of them. Another Disruptor comes through, kills a Marauder. Another shot, clips a few Marines. He's re-adding Colossi and Fusion Core on the way for Clem. Double Robo on top of the double Robo. The double Robo. As well as multiple proxy gates from Hero. What a game. Hero playing the Zerg-style Protoss, and Clem just trying to withstand the onslaught. Honestly, Caduceus Reactor might be the difference here. This army just continually stimming. The medevacs trying to get repaired by SCVs who are getting dragged into the fray. Now, there's 4 Colossi. He reset the Viking count. And now has rebuilt the Colossi. Ideally before Clem is actually able to respond to it. Doing a great job thus far. And, well, turning it around. Hero burninating through the countryside right now. The Ghost caught out in front. The EMPs have washed over most of it. The Colossi still formidable, but now he's stepping down the ramp and tearing apart the Colossi. 2 Colossi down instantaneously. Disruptor comes into the fray. Lands another hit on a single Marine. The supply's still even. dodges the Ruptor shot with the medevac, but Clem actually down 14 supply, but that's a bit misleading. Not anymore. The Stalkers evened it out. But I was going to talk about the army supply. But instead, well, the fusion core is done. The medevacs are completely drained. Caduceus reactor finally on the way. Hero with 7 Nexi. He's got 11 gateways, but he has 95 probes. I say that like a bad thing because that means his maxed out army supply is going to be significantly smaller than Clem's, but if he keeps the aggression up, it might not matter. The SCVs are still trying to repair the medevacs. Disruptors at point blank, not targeted in time. Another volley trying to zone out. The Vikings are knocking down the Colossi, though, and the Stalkers are exposed. Hero maintains that supply lead throughout. The charge launch. +2 ship weapons on the way. The Disruptors. There's so many of them now. Those 4 robos paying off. Disruptor shot hits more Zealots than Marines, but he fires off a broadside. But it's not enough to kill the planetary. Finally gets through it. He wasted a lot of time trying to kill it, but Hero now taking down the medevacs. The Immortal stands its ground and will be knocked dead there. The Disruptors are trying to get away as they have 1 speed. Saucy. And fires off another volley. He's just firing off so much. Clem has to dodge everything, and he's not succeeding. There's just too many shots fired. The constant fusillade of Disruptor shots is certainly disrupting Clem's chances of taking this series. Another volley. And Clem, well, despite the scouting Disruptors down the center of the map, Hero's on like 8 bases. He has endless charge loss. The army supplies are still very close to even. Caduceus reactor is now done for the few medevacs that will remain. More army coming in. And manages to dodge it out. He has defensive. The main command center was floated over to the center base. Double Immortal, double Colossus. And now Hero is using that area to expand. Pops another Ruptor. And another one on the high ground. Dodges away. The charge lot's coming in towards the 4th. Trying to find some sort of flank with it. Even with Caduceus reactor, the medevacs are constantly out of energy. Hero mining from everything now. A reverse. It's looking very good. Almost a full turnaround from game 1 where Clem just kept holding and eventually got the momentum. This time around, Hero is leaning on him, and Clem is 1 mediocre fight away from breaking. The charge lots come in again. The Disruptors have recharged. EMPs soften things up. Liberator shot splits 2 Marauders down. He has 1 more Disruptor banked up. The Colossus count is growing yet again. Comes forward with the Marauders. Doesn't knock down the Colossus. That will cost him. Pops another Ruptor. Stalkers target down a medevac. Colossi distracted by an orbital command. Of course they were. The Colossus dangerously close to the fray. Another wave of charge lots is coming in. Streams into that. Why is everybody so interested in the command center? EMP knocks down a Colossus, goes for 2, gets both. SCVs fighting. Liberator taken down. 15 SCVs. The Stalkers will fight the Vikings. They will win that battle. Another wave coming in. 18 SCVs dead, and Hero can do this all day. Another wave comes in, and it's gonna be too much. Clem, there's almost no SCVs. There's no supply. There's no income. I think Hero's done it. The fast and loose, constant aggression, the Zerg-like Protoss, and Clem is fighting to the end. But it's the end indeed. No GG? Well, at the end of the day, a frustrating series for Clem, and a profound one for Hero. The endless Disruptors and Zealots, the aggressive expansion. He ends the game at 2,700 minerals. He had 100 probes. Oh, Hero. He ends the series keeping it 100. You know what? He got past the 99 problems, and he added 1 more. And apparently that was the right number. 11 gates, 4 robotics facilities, 3 wins. 2 losses and 1 victory. And now I gotta quickly go back to that game on ley lines where Clem tapped out despite, well, it was a tough position, but Hero takes it 3-2. For all you annoying people who are like, I skipped to the end and I saw Clem won, so I skipped the video. 1, I know you didn't. 2, well, here you go. Happens more often than you think. Though not more often than not. But if you got the means and motivation, it'd be awesome if you check out Patreon or YouTube membership. But I hear liking and subscribing is still free, at least for now. And thank you to the Mule tier patrons. The Mule's not coming through for Clem this time, but at least for me with the minerals. Big Jiggy Door, K Mario 1. Thank you for watching. Hope it made your day a little bit better. I'll see you next time. Good luck. Have fun. Stay chill.